Moving on, now we're going to take a look at our multiplication property of equality and our division property of equality. So, for our multiplication property of equality, we have if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. Now, what that actually looks like. Let's say we have the equation of x divided by 4 equals 2. Well, right over here, I'm dividing by 4. If I want to get the x by itself and get the 4 to the other side, the opposite of division would be multiplication. So I would multiply this side by 4, and I would multiply this side by 4. Right there is your multiplication property of equality. Now, the 4 and the 4 cancel, which leaves you with your x, and then your 4 times your 2 is going to give you 8. And then in this example, 8 would be your solution. Division property of equality. If A equals B, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. So an example here of what that actually looks like would be like 2x equals 10. So again, remember, if you have a number right next to a variable, this means multiply. So this is really 2 times x. So if you want to get the x by itself, the opposite of multiplication would be division. So we're going to divide by 2. These two are going to cancel. X equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 would be your solution, but the dividing by 2 is your division property of equality. Now let's use those to do a couple examples. Number 2, solve each equation, justify each step, and check your solution. Okay, so y divided by 3 equals negative 6. If I want to get the y by itself, this is division by 3. The opposite of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. On the left, multiplying by 3 undoes dividing by 3, and we just have y equals. On the right, negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. So we're hoping that negative 18 is our solution. Our justification, here we multiplied by 3, so that is our multiplication property of equality. Then we have to check our solution, so we're going to substitute negative 18 back in. So right here, we're going to substitute negative 18 divided by 3 equals negative 6. So negative 18 divided by 3, yes, that is negative 6. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Check, and we're good to go. Letter B, 0.05w equals 1.4. So 0.05w means multiply. We're taking 0.05, we're multiplying it by w. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we're going to divide both sides by 0.05, divide by 0.05. This one is going to cancel this one. They're going to go down to 1, which is going to leave us with w. Now, at this point, if you're using a calculator, great. I'm going to show you a trick, and this is actually what we're going to use throughout the year since everyone's carrying around a Chromebook. We have 1.4 divided by 0.05. I want everyone to take and go to a web browser. In your web browser, if you do not have a calculator or if you want a different calculator, this is the calculator we're going to use. Desmos.com. Hit enter. And then up here under Math Tools, we have a graphing calculator. We also have a scientific calculator. Right now, because we're not graphing anything, we're just going to use the scientific calculator. And in here, we are trying to figure out, I believe if I remember correctly, 1.4 divided by 0.05. And then you can look over here, it already gave you the answer, or you can actually hit the blue button, and that's 28. So if you're struggling with a calculator, use Desmos.com, 28. So I'm going to go back here to our lesson, W equals 28. Now, justification. This was division. We divided. That is your division. Property of equality. And then we have to check our answer. So we're going to substitute the 28 back in for the W. So we're going to have 0.05 substituting 28 equals 1.4. Now again, I can't really do 0.05 times 28 in my head. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. 0.05 times 28. And look at that. We get 1.4. So check, and we're good to go. Letter C, 9 pi equals pi x. Now I know this looks really funny with pi in there, but keep in mind pi is not a variable, it's just a number. Okay, so pi is just 3.14. There's really nothing weird about it. Over here it says pi x. This is really like looking at 9 times 2 equals 2x. But instead of having a 2, there's a pi in here. So in this case, if I wanted to get the x by itself and get rid of the 2, this is 2 times x, I would divide by 2. And then those would cancel. Well, it's the same thing, except instead of a 2, there's a pi. So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to divide by pi. On the right, the pi's cancel, which is exactly what I wanted, and I'm left with x. On the left, it's kind of interesting. The pi's are going to cancel as well, and you're going to get a 9. So our solution should be x equals 9. Now, justification. This was division. This was division. This is our division. Property of equality. And then we have to check our answer. So I'm going to take my 9. I'm going to substitute it back in for the x. So we're going to have 9 pi equals pi times 9. Well, take a look at that. Is 9 times pi the same as pi times 9? Yep, that is your commutative property. 5 times 4 is the same as 4 times 5, so you could write it either way, but it is the same answer.